All right. Are we ready? Okay, we're going to call tonight's meeting to order on February 24th, 5:30 p.m. And our first.
Explain what?
2024.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the 26th on 2024. Okay. And we'll stand for our pledge of allegiance. Put a flag in here. Thanks. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Our first item is to approve our agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Adrian.
I'll second it.
Thank you, David. Any discussion or additions? Hearing none, we can go for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next, we have public input. Nada?
None.
Okay, no public input. So we're up for items for information. So it's nice to see you, and you're up.
All right. Thank you, Coos Bay Board. Happy to be with you this evening. I have to tell you, I'm here on a wing and a prayer. My contractor that provides our salary analysis was not able to produce a report, so I had to do something on my own, and I'll take you through that. And then my administrative assistant has been deathly ill, and so I just got the results of your qualities and qualification survey, and was just able to synthesize that into some qualities and qualifications for your search. So able to get it all done, but boy, it was right down to the last minute, just with real challenges here on my end. So happy to be here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We have a few things that we need to get done tonight. You already did the first one, which was take public comment, and that is on qualities and qualifications. So that was on the agenda. The public was aware that you had an opportunity that you're going to be studying the qualities and qualifications of the superintendent. So that you've provided that opportunity. That's statutorily required. It's one of the requirements that allows us to go into executive session when the time comes. The next is going to be to actually look at those qualities and qualifications. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. I'll switch to my document here, make it big enough so you can actually see it. And I apologize that I don't have copies in front of you, but we'll just work through this. I hope you guys are close enough to the screen that you'll be able to see this. I'm going to share my window. And I'm looking in the room. Can you folks read that?
I'm old.
Read the title.
Read the title. Okay, then we need to go to plan B. I'm going to stop my share and see if I can share it in a way that you are going to be able to see it.
David might be able to work some magic. I don't know, 150% that, 200% that screen.
My size is maxed out.
Well, yeah.
Can you do anything? Well, you could read it to us.
Well, I can't.
Oh, right there on the bottom, David, look, where it says 100% and there's a plus. Yeah, there you go, Mike. Okay.
There you go, Kim.
Thank you.
We can actually see it now.
Yes, we got you.
Oh, good. Okay. So this is just, I snipped this right out of the survey. This is your participation rate by different constituencies. So we had 3 board members. We had 24 community members, 209 parents. Good job, parents. 37 students chimed in. We had 85 of your certified staff, 47 of classified, 9 administrators, and then 4 of your confidential staff, or your admin. So
it shouldn't be 72% if there was only 3 of us.
It's
0.72.
0.72.
0.72. So 408 respondents in total. We also had 3 on we distributed a Spanish language survey. We got 3 respondents on the Spanish side, and those were really closely aligned to what we saw on the English side. So I'm just going to go through this. So based on what we received back, both, of course, we give a list of all the qualities and qualifications. So board members who took the survey, you know that we provided a list of qualities and qualifications, and then those ended up being ranked. But there were also open-ended questions. And so I also did a qualitative analysis of the open-ended questions to draw themes out. And so what I did is I essentially took the list of qualities and qualifications and then adjusted it based on the qualitative analysis. And based on that, and in rank order, because your school community ranked qualities and qualifications, by their priority. So these are by priority. So at the very top, a high degree of integrity and honesty with strong core values, culturally competent and respectful of all groups. And so as we walk through these statements, I want to check in with the board and make sure that this reflects what you want to put out in your marketing materials. So how do we feel about this first statement?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody but Kim agrees. We all like that.
How about number 2? Puts kids first and is committed to serving all kids.
How can that one be second if it's supposed to be first?
Well said, Senator Roblin. I will make that amendment.
I would also like it to say, is committed to serving each child. We had a big discussion on all kids versus
We'll see if it
each.
comes up later, because that was one of the choices.
Yeah. Each child.
I
Or
love that. Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, how about this one? An accomplished communicator who is personable and approachable while keeping an open mind, has a sense of humor, and can authentically listen. I was weaving a few things together to make that one go.
I like that.
Yeah.
They want you to have open mind as a hyphenated, or do they want it open-minded?
No, that's right.
They don't like my Oxford comma. I don't know why that doesn't like my Oxford comma, but I'm leaving it in there.
The only thing is, why is there a qualifier on who is personable and approachable while keeping an open mind? That doesn't seem to.
Just,
Yeah. Yep, that works.
Keeps an open mind, has a good sense of humor, and can authentically listen. Thank you.
What about listen authentically? Sorry, I'm wordsmithing. And can listen authentically sounds better to me, but.
So from the top, an accomplished communicator who is personable and approachable, keeps an open mind, has a good sense of humor, and can listen authentically.
Yes.
Beautiful.
That's really good. I like that. How about this one? A proven and innovative instructional leader with strong academic credentials and a teaching and building administration background.
Yes.
What about with the teaching and building?
So is that eliminating anybody who doesn't have building administration?
I don't think it eliminates them, but as we evaluate them,
yeah, we've had candidates before who haven't had experience in the classroom or haven't been building administrators prior, yeah.
Would we want, instead of and with teaching and building, because you've got the and the. Do you see what I'm saying? A proven and innovative instructional leader with strong, well, that would be 2 lists. Credentials with teaching and building administration background. Maybe it would just be 2 sentences. I don't know.
You are wordsmithing, right?
No, I'm so
How
sorry.
about-
It sounds good, you just have 3 hits, but that's fine, I like it.
So are we good, or do you want me to change it?
No, that's fine, just leave it, I'm not gonna do
Okay.
it.
Proven ability to make tough decisions when necessary and effectively communicate the reasons. Essentially, transparency.
Yeah,
No objections.
No,
Yep.
Ability to build and sustain robust and effective family, community, and business partnerships that impact student success.
sounds great, we're nodding our heads.
It's interesting, in the survey, proactive bubbled up in the results, so I had to weave that into this one. So proactive organizational manager with a track record of collaboration and demonstrates sound fiscal management and strong budgeting skills. I want to put that there.
There you go.
Oh, but it doesn't like that.
that doesn't make sense.
You
All
only,
I see is demons, so.
We don't want that.
you don't want that, it's not what that is, it's who, yeah. Who.
Oh, who demonstrates. Yes,
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Or comment demonstrating.
yeah.
Oh, that's probably. Come on. Okay, there we go. Who? Which demonstrates?
Yeah, it actually is which demonstrates.
That's probably grammatically correct. Oh,
It's not.
Yeah, it is.
Manager, it's a manager. So if you're talking about a manager, you're not gonna say which, it's.
But that's
you're gonna say who?
doing up the collaboration though, the word collaboration.
I like the who. It could be so from the top, proactive organizational manager with a track record of collaboration who demonstrates sound fiscal management and strong budgeting skills. Ooh, that feels good to me.
Yeah, that looks good.
That feeling good, board?
Yes.
The track
You
record
can also just take out the
collaboration.
who and put a period and just say demonstrate sound fiscal management and strong budget.
Yes,
That's
That's
pretty good with that situation. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, a leader who will understand local values and be highly visible in our community and schools. So this was something that came up in the qualitative analysis that, you know, folks in the community want someone who's going to be able to integrate into the Bay Area community and like get who you are. And so I integrated that here. How do we feel about it?
phrase values. That
Say it
is
again.
highly suggestive.
Addie was talking about the word values and it being, subjective.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, whose values?
right.
Culture? Does that work?
I know what they're trying to say. I know what.
How about we'll understand the community and be highly visible in our schools?
Yeah, I think that is more,
Yeah, rather than local culture. I mean, we do have a culture, but it just depends on who you're talking to, which.
And
Which
who-
culture it is,
right, I
exactly.
agree, I agree.
yeah, it opens up to discriminatory kinds of things.
Right.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
Great analysis, team. Okay, so a leader who will understand our community and be highly visible in our schools.
Yes, A
Yeah.
plus Addie. Good catch.
Okay, what did I miss?
That looks good.
A super person
Yeah.
who will do everything we want for very little money.
To be successful and
And
stay
be
for a really long time.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, minimum 10 years.
Yes. That would be nice.
All right. If the board is happy with these qualities and qualifications, it would be, we need to have a motion. We need to go ahead and approve these.
I move we adopt these, qualities, as those we're looking for in a new superintendent.
All right, we have a motion on the floor.
I second the motion to adopt these qualities and qualifications.
Qualifications, yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, we have a second with an addition of qualities and qualifications. And any discussion or additions to those? All right, let's take a vote. Diane?
Aye.
Ernie?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Adrian?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Patty?
Aye.
I vote aye as well, motion carries. All right, next we've got our, oh, did you hear that, Vincent?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now you're asking to set the dates, times, and location of screening committee training.
So my understanding is that we've already done that. I have April 4th as our screening committee training on our calendar. And you can have whatever time you like on that day, or we can adjust as needed.
Did that come out in that calendar that maybe I didn't put everything on here?
In the timeline that we reviewed at our last board meeting, we had discussed there was two options
Oh, that's
presented,
right.
and Brian will not be here on the second.
Right.
So we had preemptively
I
selected
didn't put it in my books because I'm
So
gone.
which day is it?
It is April 4th.
Fifth, that's the
Fourth.
It is 4 days before the next solar eclipse in the United States.
That's right, and we were gonna be there.
That's a good memory. I like that.
It's also my daughter's birthday.
Oh. All
Okay,
right.
so we're good for April 8th or April 4th. Sorry. April 8th. I'm thinking about the eclipse. Sorry.
So do you need to set the
April
time and the
Fools.
location of this? Because we still have it, the times and location to be discussed. Do we need
So-
that?
So the time, I think, is up to the board and the folks you select for the screening committee. Whatever is convenient for you. I have the whole evening set aside for your team. The format, I would advocate doing it virtually. I mean, you can pull everybody in if you'd like to meet with them, but we can do that training virtually for folks.
I think virtually sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
And, I'm not able to be there because I will be in New Orleans, but,
Well, you can't do it.
oh gosh,
You
no,
can
I'm gonna be on a plane. I think that's actually when I fly out.
No, that's, yeah.
You're right, you're gonna be at the French Quarter.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
the margarita
time.
thing.
Yeah.
I know how that is.
Yeah.
One of the clubs, all right.
So if there are individuals who can't make that time and date, even virtually, we can do an extra training for individuals or two people.
can we record that so that the person can just watch it later?
I'd rather do it in person. I'd rather make the time for that, just so if they have any questions, they can get them answered.
How many people do you want on that?
Yeah,
On the committee,
Yeah. Or is that all of them?
so I mean, that is up to the board how large your screening committee is. I recommend a group of 8 to 12 individuals, mostly or entirely comprised of folks, district staff.
Okay, so in addition to our 7 board members, sorry, Vince, I'm just getting clarification. In addition to our 7 board members, you would like 8 to 12 composed mostly of staff and a couple
Yeah.
community members. Okay,
If you want a community partner, so someone in the community that works very closely with the superintendent, maybe the director of public health or chief of police or a mayor, something like that. Those are folks that sometimes show up on the screening committee. Folks that, it's good to have their eyes on applicants. But I leave that to the wisdom of the board if there are any individuals in your community that you'd like to pull in that capacity.
Would you recommend union leadership? As
Union
people-
lead, yes, union leaders are often on screening committees.
They will like that very much.
Yeah, it's a very good way to bring them into the process and build that relationship with your associations.
And just so I'm clear, we'll be setting the actual screening committee members at a future meeting, correct?
I believe so. You are
It'll have to be
March,
soon.
March 11th is when you select screening committee members.
So do we ask for people to recommend themselves, or we go out and ask them what's the best way?
Well,
We
right
have
now, oops, sorry, Vincent. I was just gonna say, right now, it's D on our list is identify potential screening committee members, and then next to Arnie's question, Vincent, what were you gonna say about that?
we have a form that we can send to you that you can customize and send out.
I can't remember how we did, what we did last time. Do you recall what we did? Where we did a committee. It was largely district staff and us with some community involvement outside of that. I think we did
We sent out that form and the people,
accept nominations in
Yeah,
and we
and then
chose
we-
within that,
yeah.
trying to make sure we had certain groups represented primarily and stuff, but we're involved.
yeah. Is it the same form that we used last time, Vincent?
Yes,
Okay.
it'll be or very similar. Yes.
Yeah. That seemed to work well.
I think it worked fine. I mean, I would say that, I think some of the concerns came afterwards in the sense that sometimes the screening groups wanted more information later than they got. So, I mean, maybe we could have a discussion about that at some point, but I do think there was some concerns about the transparency, and I don't really think it was an issue of transparency, but it kind of was, because some board
Yeah.
took on the decision-making, and other people had given their input, and they didn't know what we did with it or not. And I think maybe that's just part of the process, is that once it happens at that point, yeah, you don't really know what the board is gonna do with the input.
That's kind of like the name of the game, right? I mean, because it's ultimately our decision and we can't give them all the pieces.
How many people are we?
8 to 12,
But if we're 7 of it, we're
in addition to the board.
8 to 12 in addition.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I'd say probably,
because we can't be the majority.
No, and it's funny too, because you screen, right, and you develop your list of
Yeah.
top whatever.
Yeah.
And then you check with them, and then you end up getting a reduced
Whittling it
list
down, yep.
from there, and then by the end, you might have, 2 or 3, or, I mean,
No.
So what you need is a motion to set the date, time of this training.
No, I don't need a motion for it.
You've got
We
it.
just need to nail that down. Is all.
Okay, April 4th.
April 4th, what
And
time?
you just need a time at 4 o'clock, did you say?
well, I think
it
it's.
should be later,
April
probably.
I would say a little later,
Yeah.
5:30 or something.
I think like our normal board
Yeah,
time.
and you
Yeah,
said
me
it's
too.
2 hours, Vincent?
Oh, not that long. An hour and a half.
An hour and a half, so 5:30 to 7.
Yeah, that's good.
Depending on how many questions come up. Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll be available, or?
She won't.
I don't,
She's a special training all by herself.
Just imagine,
Be on the airplane?
I think I'm in.
Kevin, just imagine her with a giant thing around her neck with a big drink.
Yes, or like.
You could use a filter.
Voodoo dolls,
Yeah.
I'm really excited about
You
that.
mean she's not gonna have beads around her neck?
Well, that,
That's what he
you got
said.
beats too.
I could probably Photoshop a cardboard cutout. I need one for each of you for when you're out here. So
Yeah.
That would be good. I would actually appreciate that.
So another conversation that we presented at the last meeting was the idea of a closed search. So what OSBA typically does is a semi-open search. We keep it confidential until the very end, and then we release the names of finalists. So that's semi-open. A fully open search is when everybody knows all the candidates, and that's really not a good way to do executive searches. But there was an idea floated to do a closed search, and that may allow the board to reach some candidates that otherwise might not turn out for a semi-open search. So I wanted to place that. I do need a decision from the board tonight because we need to include that in the marketing materials, because having a closed search is a feature, a marketing feature for the search. We're going to go that route.
I don't believe in a closed search.
I don't, well, can
I
I
don't either.
Can I ask a question? Do you tend, I mean, in my brain, if somebody's gonna apply and wants to be here, they're gonna apply and want to be here. While I understand that people may not want their current employer to maybe know that they're, you know, looking, but do you tend to get higher quality or more candidates when you have a closed search? And then my concern would also be is that we've already talked about there being some concern about transparency, and so I don't know if that's gonna make a difference at all in that perception.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag, obviously. I mean,
The 20-some people who will be on the committee will all know.
Sure,
So that's the, from
Sure.
a transparency point.
Sure.
The issue is, when you get down to the final three,
Right.
are there people who would not want their name because they may not be selected, and they don't want to give that away in another field? Whereas when you do a closed search, the only one that's mentioned is the one that wins.
Yeah.
So the others don't get exposed.
So we don't get to have them meet people in the community or go to the schools and meet
It's just
all
you
the
introduce-
teachers
Correct.
and.
You just
Yeah.
introduce, this is your winners.
Yeah.
Hope you like it. Boom.
So in a closed search, we would convene a panel of community members that the candidates would interact with. So that would be something that we would discuss and figure out what that interaction would look like. But yeah, it would have to be a confidential process. So we would put them under a confidentiality agreement. So those would be your, community stakeholders and maybe some folks from your school community to come in and be the face of the community, so they get some interaction, maybe some students as well.
And that's different from, say, our screening committee.
That would be distinct from your screening committee. Although screening committee members could certainly participate in that as well, if that's what you would desire.
Vincent, would it be something that people, just like the screening committee, apply for basically? They give their, hey, we'd like to be on this, here's the reasons why, and I'm assuming you already have a form for that, and then we send out the email, they come in, and we pick them out. And how many people are usually on that?
I mean, you're going to want a few, so maybe say 15, a dozen, 15, not much more than that. We don't want it to become cumbersome, but you're going to want a fairly large group, a pretty good cross section of your community for these individuals to interact with, and then they're going to provide you feedback, so to help you in making a decision.
The first decision is, do we want it to be open so we can have the final three and sit in front of a group or not?
so historically, do you get more candidates when it's closed?
I don't know if we get more candidates. We definitely get higher profile candidates.
Yeah, you're
Higher profile.
gonna get potentially more experienced folks that are fairly more well situated, rather than those that sort of don't have as much to potentially lose because they're not in a current superintendent role, or it's already covered. So the benefit is you might get more qualified applicants who otherwise might not take the risk of applying for a different position. How much benefit you're gonna get, I'm not really, it's hard to say.
I'd like to see the data on that.
It is theoretical, but most companies, private companies, everything is done confidential. You don't know that whole thing, they tell you who it
And
is.
it doesn't change our search process, it's the same process, it's just how visible it is to the general public.
Right.
So
Correct.
if we do a closed search and come up with a list of finalists and they're all okay with being open about it, we have the option of kind of presenting them all at that point.
If we've already advertised as a closed session, it won't matter, right?
Well, I mean, we could at the end, if that's what you'd like to do, if you'd like to ask them if we could disclose them, we could ask, but they're probably going to say no because they are involved in a closed search.
If
Vincent,
that's what they choose to do that.
Yeah.
right. Vincent, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to add another piece of information. A closed search may help the board, make the applicant pool a bit larger because you're late in the season. And so candidates, and particularly someone who's in a superintendency, is not going to want to cause any disturbance in their own district by letting folks know that they're out looking at jobs, in March and April. Because that gives the district very little notice to get someone ready to be superintendent on July 1.
I know, that makes me a little nervous. If somebody's willing to leave, I mean, that's hard on the other school. Like,
Yeah.
Why are you leaving so fast?
Yeah.
Like, why are you
Yeah,
doing?
but you never know, you might have a case where they're not a good fit with their district, and, I think in general,
I
it might be an amicable party, you just never know.
So have you, Vincent, at OSBA, do you have like some information that you've like, hey, we've done this closed search in Tualatin or, Tiger, wherever, and we did get higher quality candidates in the last, say, year that you've experienced?
No, I mean, I personally have never done a closed search, so I know that OSBA has done them in the past, but this will be my first one. But I know how the process works. It's not complex.
What's the percentage, would you say?
I would say less than 10%, less than 5%. Very few.
And why is that in the education system? Why do you think that less than 5% would go for a closed search?
I think that a lot of school boards feel a strong sense of accountability to their communities and want to have some transparency.
Yeah, I think
I
that's.
think in light of where we are and why we're here a year and a half after we started it the last time, we should be very transparent.
That's how I feel, but.
We did it last time.
I was gonna say, that's a result with
Yeah.
this open search. So I'm not sure that I feel like that's
That's a
not,
necessity.
I mean,
It doesn't-
honestly,
It doesn't guarantee.
it does not. And,
Yeah.
honestly, most of the process is fairly closed until the very end anyway. And honestly, I think, we would have made the same decision regardless either way last time. I mean, there was really.
Only two.
But did you introduce your finalists to?
Only two of them.
Yeah.
We
And
did.
it turned out the others denied that, so there were only two, but yes, we did. We had a meeting in this building.
Mhm.
I liked that part of the process. I think in the end that kind of wrapped the community back in, having the two candidates, and it didn't turn out how we wanted it to turn out. But I don't know. I like the open, I like having the open. I can kind of see the idea behind the closed, but I don't know that it's gonna guarantee us any.
I like the partially closed where we keep it quiet until the finalists.
We always do that.
Yeah,
That's
that's
always the
a
way,
status
yeah.
quo, what we do. I think that that we hadn't done that last time, I think that if it would have been a closed session, that we would probably not have been voted in, those of us that were for renewal. This is because they would have said, here, you gave us this, and nobody had any input, because that's their, their perceived, notion of it, especially if you're a community member and you weren't on that selection committee. And here we are, and so I think it would have put us in a much worse place than, at least we had that, and people.
I would say though that if you looked at who applied for the position last time.
There is that too, yes.
We had, I don't think we had any experienced superintendents apply for the position.
We didn't have anybody?
Anybody. They were all people aspiring to be the superintendent. So if we have an open search, given the information, we are likely to get mostly, if not all, aspiring superintendents.
No, there were a couple.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we were.
One from Eastern Oregon.
Yep.
Can I,
Was there?
can I ask a question too, do you know right now what you guys have been seeing
Oh.
across the board as far as like, on our last search, there wasn't a lot of candidates, it was like a COVID like thing, and like, the pool there was not a large pool, I remember that coming up, and has the pool grown at all? Have you noticed a difference? Are there more active candidates or people that are looking to move or change, like?
Yes. So I would say that we've seen a somewhat of a rebound in applicant pools, both mostly in breadth, but to a certain degree in depth as well. Coming out of the pandemic, it's not as good as it was, and I think that is more attributable to just people not wanting to be in the superintendency anymore because it's so darn hard. But no, we definitely have had some very nice applicant pools, even for very remote districts. So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, you're in an amenity rich community. I mean, certainly hard hit, but a really lovely place to live. So I can certainly see someone being excited to come work here.
Good buildings, we have nice facilities, beautiful schools. So Vincent, those ones that had even some, good candidates going forward, those were open, I'm assuming?
Yeah, well, semi-open. Our usual routine. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Openness, yeah. Well, we have to make a decision tonight, and there's obviously some of us who are like, open, some of us, so do we want it?
I wonder if we could hear it from people that haven't spoken.
Quiet.
If you guys have thoughts.
Yeah, I can
about
feel
that.
that.
Well, for me, I've been saying open from the get-go, but then I've been listening to people for the last, couple months also, and it just really feels like if it was closed, we have a higher odds of getting what we need, And so even though it don't sound good to me, it might be the best way to go. But
Yeah, I think there are, if we were doing this in sort of the normal superintendent search time, I would be pushing for an open search, but because we're starting so late in the process, I think, potentially casting that net a little bit wider for higher quality candidates is what I'm looking at.
Armin, what did you say?
I have gone back and forth since we had started having the conversation, and at the end of the day, if you have an open search, there is an unwritten kind of rule that if you come to listen to them speak, that you are, and you give your input, then you should be helping that person be successful. And open searches lead people to have more buy-in. It didn't work on our last one, but that is a typical thing that we talk about at times. So I go back and forth, and I agree. I think from the perspective of, it's been interesting to me since our superintendent left. I've had an awful lot of local community people, not school people, shocked because they thought she was the best superintendent we've had for a long time. And the internal part was harder, but the external part,
Right.
She did a very good job.
Right.
Yeah. And the people who were on some of those committees that did the equity stuff, they are
Yes.
upset actually that it happened. So it's been interesting from my perspective to listen to the different stuff. The people in the buildings, not so much. They are pretty united with regard to that. So I find it interesting. And I hope it's not a sign. The staff doesn't want to move from where they are, and so if people push them, they're going to be upset about it. That would be really sad for our district in the long run. So I'm hopeful that's not it. So I guess given today, I'm probably leaning more to open just because I think we have to keep trying to build that relationship with everybody in the community. And they're going to see that the committees are mostly made up of us and staff. so they'll think they're getting the biggest input anyway, so not having it open at the end for the community to come in, I think, could be a problem. We may not get the same group of people, that's one of the problems, but. So that's kind of where I'm at.
That's pretty good. You just ruined my analysis. I was gonna be all the men are closed, all the women are open. I'm like, what does that say?
I mean, I would hope, and I can understand why people would deem this questionable. I think everybody sitting here operates with full integrity. I have no doubt
Right.
in my mind about
I
that.
agree.
I do think that, I do think there is still some risk in saying
Thanks,
it's
Adrian.
closed just because of what we have been through. And that's not to say, I don't think there was a single person in this room or previously that operated in any kind of way. We followed the rules, and when information could be released, the information was released. But yeah, I don't know, I'm torn because I do see, both sides. I do see that we want a strong candidate pool. We deserve to have a really great experienced superintendent, and that meets all those wonderful qualifications. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm leaning towards the semi-open.
You guys wanna take a vote?
I like Arnie's, I'm really split. I really can go either way. I mean, honestly, the hiring process is a bit of a crapshoot, no matter what you do with it. And who you get is a bit of a crapshoot, and so, that's just what, even under the best of circumstances.
I'm optimistic. I'm with Vincent. I think that the tide is turning in Coos Bay for the better.
Good pun.
Yes.
How far are we behind the normal process?
A couple months.
Yeah, you're a couple months behind.
So when we make these decisions tonight on this open or closed, are you gonna, does this mean you'll send it out right away? Like, are there other things that we still need to decide on?
No, when I leave this, I will be forwarding the information to my team, and we'll be developing marketing materials first thing tomorrow.
So move on, I'll move that we have an open session, process.
I second that.
Thank you both. Any other discussion? No? Hearing none. Diane? Aye. I vote aye.
Aye.
Nay.
There's only two options.
Can I abstain? Can I
Or abstain.
According to our rules of etiquette.
Can I go both ways?
Yeah, I vote.
Open.
All right. Thank you for all the voting. Sorry, Adrian.
All right. Board, thank you. So, it's an honor to watch a high functioning board grapple with a tough question. I just have to tell you, from my point of view as a consultant, that was just a wonderful display of board work. So I wish I could distill that and get it in a bottle and share it with other boards.
Or just tell all these potentials that we are a great board.
Yes, it's worth
Yeah.
the last, but it should be an honor for them. I wish I had a little bag of popcorn for Adrian, though. I just feel like there needs to be a consolation prize.
That's
Adrian has never lost before in his entire life, first time.
I actually probably believe that.
Well,
I kind of believe it.
You're a little old to be part of that generation.
Well, I think we have 3 days to change our vote, so I'm good.
All right. It's only 6:15. You guys can't be getting this squirrely already. So
Can't get that way.
Our last thing
So-
is to create the salary range, correct? Vincent?
All right, that's right.
Oh, I thought we already did
We
that.
did.
Did we do enough?
So-
Well, not potential individuals, but process of people.
Yeah.
It said identify potential screening committee members as
So
people.
individuals is what we want to do in an open session? Is that
yeah,
correct?
that's at your next meeting. So I can make sure that David has that application, and you can choose who you want to send that to.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we wait then to sort of talk about, I mean, last time we talked about for representation, right? I mean, we looked at sort of I think an outline or a template about trying to get a proper.
I think we want to talk to our unions about some representation from them. We need to talk to our administrators to see what they want to have represent them. We need to figure out, do we want to go after particular groups in our community? Do we want to go to the chamber? Do we want to do other groups? Are there Native American groups that we should get a hold of? Are there other unrepresented people who have organizations that could nominate people to us? How do we want to go about it?
And we did that last time and we put the tribes on there. We had the Hispanic Coalition. We had, do we have our notes from last time? I mean, OSBA did it, and so we just already should have that all done, that we already did that. And we had a pretty,
AYA or
We
something
did-
like that,
we
or
had
our
that.
outside organizations,
we had all of, everybody you could think of, that we had it, and we had a bunch, we had all the people apply, we had them on there,
We had their sort of area where they.
I would call the same people back.
I mean, it's.
Still there.
Bad job, it was all them, wasn't that?
Yeah,
That's right.
get their secretaries, not the same people.
Yeah.
Secretaries.
I felt like last time
I
it
will
was
take
a
those.
large group. I don't like,
Pardon?
wasn't it large?
I said I'll take those notes up from
I think it was
Yeah.
30 people.
and send them out.
It was a lot. I like the idea of this 8 to
I
12.
definitely
So
think
8 to 12
Brian
there
should be a
plus-
member.
Plus
Us.
So it still ends up being a
Being
large.
quite a bit,
large
okay.
group. And they have a pretty good sort of scoring and ranking system, and
Yeah.
so it was pretty structured.
Yeah, I
The
think
reality is
I think I remember good.
Never met.
Yeah.
Because they all individually went through all the applications themselves. They all got trained same way.
Well, we all got together at one point,
Yes.
because they were all virtual, and then
Yeah.
we all got
We were
together.
here, they
Yeah.
were virtual on the screen, like
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
the only time that- yeah.
Are you ready to discuss salary range?
Yes.
Okay, David, you're going to have to make this spreadsheet larger because there's going to be fine print here.
He's an old hand at that now.
Your way. And should be live there.
Yes, we got it.
Looks like it. Okay, so lots of numbers and information here.
We can figure it out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make
So
sure.
I have to give you a caveat. This salary data is fiscal year 2022 data. Okay.
Oh,
So, but don't panic. There are ways to get it into a form that we can work with. So the methodology we use is we look at your enrollment, and then I grab the 30% below and above in enrollment, and those are the comparator districts. So you can see who I've pulled here based on size. Scappoose, Morrow, Cascade, Jefferson County, the whole county, St. Helens, Dallas, Central, and your neighbors, North Bend. So there's a bunch of data here, but I want to draw your attention over here. So you'll see I have this fiscal year 2022 column. So this is the data that I got. So this is actual superintendent salaries in fiscal year 2022. But we have experienced some inflation since 2022. So I went to the Bureau of Labor Statistics and did a calculation for the consumer price index, and we experienced 9.7% increase in inflation. So I inflated those salaries to 2024 numbers. Okay? Still with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So then based on that, then I create summary statistics. So down here we have a minimum, a maximum, take the median and the average. So the number that you're really interested in is this number right here. So the average for the group in fiscal year 2024 is $172,874 or $173,000. I'm going to let that sink in. So You get a range. I create a little calculator here. It gives us an upper bound and a lower bound. I've chosen 5% on either side of the average of the mean of the group.
So
And
anywhere
so
from 1 to 2.
that gets us this lower range of 164,000 and up to 182. So I bounce this off a couple people, and this, fits the gut check. So people, this sounded about right for Coos Bay going into fiscal year 2025.
Have we bounced this off our finance director?
Yeah,
Okay.
And I take it, I can't remember, what is our, how many contract days is ours?
I don't know that. I don't have your data.
Okay,
Our
you don't?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can everyone hear me? It's Marina.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can. Thank you, Maria.
Hi everyone. Our superintendent contract is 260 days.
260.
And then how many holidays do we have? What's up with this 15 holidays?
That sounds about right, but I don't have the contract right in front of me.
No, that 15 doesn't sound right.
No, it's kind of an outlier in that.
It is an
group.
outlier.
It's about 4 higher.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't really. North Bend has a significant number of additional days because they do a 5-day Labor Day weekend. We have about 12.
Okay. And is that salary range in line with what we have been paying, Marina?
Our salary for this year was 160,000. So it will be a significant increase to our budget. However, we are just now building our budget, and so we are able to utilize these numbers to build the rest of our budget document off of.
If we go to the higher range, we just gotta find about 22,000 more dollars.
Correct.
Look under my couch.
I
know.
mean,
It's not very
in
much.
the grand scheme,
Yeah.
that's a drop in
It
the
is what it is.
bucket.
Yeah. Our current year budget is 400 and our current budget is 44.5 million. And so in the grand scheme, I don't think the 22,000 will be significant. And if we prioritize it when building our budget for the upcoming year, we should be okay.
Those are still large numbers for people in our community.
That's yeah.
That is
You're right.
correct.
And yeah, you gotta look at, if somebody's looking for an EA and maybe it's 40, half of an EA, like a quarter of an EA.
The people in this, I agree, I get what you're saying, but this is a big job.
It is.
Oh, I'm
It's
superintendent
Yeah.
position, that's a big position,
Yeah.
and it has very serious responsibilities, and generally those positions come with
Yeah.
a
Oh, I'm not
generous
saying that it shouldn't be that.
salary. I'm not saying those, I mean.
So I know last time, I remember who I did this with. The range is one thing, the negotiation is something else.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just compare us. This is our range area, but when you get down to the brass tacks, then. And sometimes the contract things are not just salary, there are other items that are
Yeah.
around it too.
Yeah, what is that, TSA?
That's a additional retirement fund that
Oh,
sometimes people
okay.
ask for money to be put in.
Mhm.
So that,
Do we have that currently?
We do. It's currently only 2,000.
How much, 2,000?
2,000.
Correct. Yeah. I would, if you're asking an opinion on the range, I do feel like the range listed is reasonable and appropriate for the position and our size of district.
That's all I need to hear. Thank you so much.
Yep, of course.
If it doesn't work out.
It's your fault.
No.
You're not here, we get to blame it on you.
David, is this recorded?
yes, ma'am.
Great, thanks.
I move that we approve the stated salary range for the superintendent.
Do we
I
have a-
second it.
Thank you, Addie. Thank you, David. Any discussion? All right, let's vote. Addie?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
I
Dear-
love the site words. Okay, so we identified, those are all my check marks.
Woo! Great.
Good work, team.
Thank you.
So just a reminder of how the salary range works. So when you go into negotiations, you can't go below your floor,
Yes.
but you can go above your high end. But here's a way to think about the two numbers. The bottom number is who is the lowest person, lowest qualified person that you would consider. And so would you consider someone who's new to the superintendency? From what I've heard, that doesn't really fit. And that's kind of what you're communicating with that 164 at the bottom end. And then your high end is the lure. That's the one that lures people in and gets them excited. It's like, wow, that's 180. Wow, they're going up there. They're going for somebody. So that's going to lure higher quality candidates in, more experienced candidates in. So it's a way to think about those numbers. Those are all the things that I need to start preparing marketing materials. Does anyone have any questions?
When are we gonna start, when can we reasonably expect to start getting applicants?
That's a tough question. So I would love it to say that as soon as we publish this thing, we'll start getting applicants, and we'll get one or two. But I will tell you, the most applicants come in the last 2 weeks.
And what's the end date gonna be on our advertising?
Your search window is 5 weeks, starting on March 1st and ending on April 5th.
The day after our training.
Mhm.
We're moving.
So-
The process is compacted.
So when we market this, we'll be sending it out to over 40,000 email addresses across the United States. So we direct market it. It will go on to a variety of websites. Of course, OSBA, COSA here in state, but then also the National Association of Superintendent Searchers. It'll be on the national website. And then also we will be doing targeted social media marketing. So we'll be putting it on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, X was Twitter. So we'll be sending those out, and those will be targeted and boosted. So that's what the marketing looks like.
And that starts Friday.
Yes. Well, as long as Jen doesn't come back from being sick.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm down a person here in the office. So, yeah, we'll do our best to be on time, though. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Vincent.
Yep.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a good night, everybody.
You as well.
And you'll send us a copy of the advertisement, correct?
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Website.
Perfect,
Yeah.
thank you.
You bet.
We can share it
Okay.
on.
You
our-
go.
Thanks,
Good
Vince.
night, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. We will adjourn tonight's meeting. Woo! Under an hour.
Wow, you guys out of here early.
You did
We're
good.
Yeah.
We did good.
That's right. Yeah, I will say,
You did good.
we did good.